Good morning, everyone. I'm going to lead you in this song of joy. It's the perfect day for joy and peace and love. There's a call and response that I'd like you to invite to participate with us, and you'll get it when that comes around. Please stand as you are able and willing and join us in I Choose Joy. I choose joy to lift my soul, living like there's no tomorrow. I choose joy, it makes me whole, letting go of blame and sorrow. What a journey path to follow. I choose joy, I choose joy, I choose joy, I choose joy, I choose peace, I choose peace, my soul, living like there's no tomorrow. I choose to make me whole, letting go of blame and sorrow. What a peaceful path to follow. I choose peace. I choose peace. I choose peace. I choose peace. And I choose love. I choose love. My soul, living like there's no tomorrow. I choose love. I choose love. Letting go of blame and sorrow. What a loving path to follow. I choose love. I choose love. I choose love. I choose love. Knowing all is well, I'm expecting the best. Reflecting all the good and letting go of the best. I choose God. I choose God. Living like there's no tomorrow. I choose God. I choose God. Letting go of blame and sorrow. What a perfect path to follow. I choose God. I choose God. I choose peace. I choose peace. I choose love. I choose love. I choose joy. I choose joy. I choose joy.
Good morning, Sacramento Center for Spiritual Living, friends, guests, members, whatever. Everybody. Good morning, everybody, to the Sacramento Center for Spiritual Living, whether you're online, watching on YouTube, or right here with us live today at the Citrus Heights Community Center. We have a few housekeeping things to get started, other than just loved the opening song. Thank you so much for getting us up. The service is being recorded because we do have a following on YouTube, and that is one of the ways that we reach people and bless people and also build our community. So this is an opportunity for people, even if they can't make it in person, to join us online. And so you're welcome to turn off your video or change your name. Just know it is recorded. Of course, we love seeing your faces. We do have a website where all of our ongoing events are occurring, and so you're welcome to hop over there. We will talk about announcements later. And again, thank you to our YouTube audience. Thank you for watching. Thank you for our generous donations. And if you go on YouTube, please hit subscribe. This is again how we build the channel. Thank you. We have a book this month. We actually have a book every month, so I'm making it sound amazing. And while the book is amazing, the fact that we have, never mind. Okay, who likes this title? How to be an adult in relationships. Shoot, we have to grow up again? Oh my goodness, the 5 keys to mindful loving. Darn it, sometimes it's my responsibility. Okay. And that's by David, I don't know how to say his name, Richo, I don't know, R-I-C-H-O. And now for our invocation, this is the time to settle even deeper into the spiritual portion of the service. And so close your eyes or let them go unfocused. Feel yourself comfortable in your seats, whatever it is that settles you in. There is one infinite power, one infinite love, one infinite grace, one infinite wholeness. It is the infinite blessing of the universe, the infinite presence of divine being. This presence of divine being is all that I am, all that I, Debbie, am. It is all that each and every one of us here, in person, online, watching on YouTube, all that we are is this infinite presence of divine being. Feel that now. This is the only truth of our being, and everything else is moved out of the way, for it was never part of us in the first place. The only truth is this truth of our being as a pure and perfect, innocent presence of the divine, the essence of love. And today, this essence of love and this essence of the divine shows up as the most wonderful talk by Reverend Patricia Van Workum as our minister today, and by our musicians, Bev and Greg, and by those of us who are supporting on the podium, and those of us who are supporting from the technological standpoint, and those who support by showing up and allowing their love, your love, to fill this space. This is what is happening right now. As that love expands, the love we receive expands. And so I know that each and every person listening has an open heart, an open mind, and receives that which is theirs to receive. It is good. It is good now. And so it is.
And so it is.
And now for our readings. I believe in a direct communication between the spirit and the individual. The universal spirit personifying itself through each and all. This is a beautiful, logical, and unavoidable conclusion. Ernest Holmes, Can We Talk to God? Our three greatest needs are to feel that we are needed, wanted, and loved. To feel that we belong to the universe in which we live. Science of Mind magazine. And now we welcome our beloved musicians, Bev Barnett and Greg Newland. Living their lives in the key of love means they start with an acoustic groove, add some harmony, and have a whole lot of fun. Partners in both life and music, audiences call their music inspiring, joyful, and memorable. With Greg's distinctive guitar style and Bev's warm, clear voice, their deep connection is obvious from the start, and their intertwining harmonies make beautiful music about ordinary life, extraordinary love, and the pursuit of a more peaceful world. Please stop by to say hello after the service.
And useless running. Heard him say he thought the trees could talk. Well, if they didn't want me to hear beyond all our day's routine, I'm not sure we'd take the time to stop to listen. But in these branches live our dreams, wild ideas and crazy schemes, wisdom of a million fruitful years. Love unfolds in gentle leaves, reveals the truth that lies protecting all the souls that we hold dear. If only we could see our way clear to listen. Seems that listening's lost its stride, and we haven't stopped in quite a while to smell the sweetness of rose. We can't see and we won't hear long enough to face our fears. We can't learn what trees have us know. Now the boy has grown and wise, has learned to live with compromise, looking back on years and taking stock. Thinks of what is lost and missing, and knows if he just tries to listen, late at night the trees will start to talk. Wind will blow and trees will softly talk. Will we listen? Listen, oh, listen.
Beautiful.
It was.
You know, perfect way to start a month on relationships. Can you listen? Trees talk. Nice. Thank you. Oh, welcome.
Welcome.
I'm Reverend Patricia, in case you missed that. Reverend Sharon is under the weather, so I got to fill in. Yay. And I'm really glad. This is a new month, so we have a new theme. As we continue with living everyday wonder, this month we focus on relationships. And relationships are often considered the fastest way to self. Both our individual self and a greater self that lives in, through, and as us. This week's focus is on our relationships to ourselves. And it's important because the relationship we have with ourselves is the foundation for all other relationships in our life. The way we relate to ourselves, one another, the world, and life itself are all interconnected and inseparable. How we treat ourselves offers us greater insight into how we treat others and how we want others to treat us. We cannot claim to love God while hating ourselves. We cannot declare that it is a just and equitable universe while treating others, people, animals, the earth, unjustly and inequitably. So this month is an invitation to anchor in the spiritual practice of engaged relationships and actively revel in the wonder of how each relationship is ultimately a relationship with Spirit itself. So I'm going to begin with what may seem to be a very odd place. I seem to do this on a regular basis, so get used to it. Okay? I'm going to start with original sin. Now, all of you ex or recovering Catholics, stay with me. It is not what you think. Original sin is the belief in separation, that we are somehow separate from God, separated from the living Spirit. This is not true. Repeat, this is not true,
But what is true?
but it can be a fact. Okay? The human experience is one of separation. We are born into the human experience in separate bodies. We also, by both nature and nurture, are totally unique expressions of life. No one is like me. I truly am alone and separate in my humanity. If I'm lucky or blessed, and I am both, there are a few wonderful folks in my life who get me. But at the end of the day, there's only me in here. There will always be me in here. What's the phrase? Wherever I go, there I am. I was born into separation. We all were. We were born into original sin. And by the way, I'm going to keep saying that word sin until the old charges that are attached to the word are worn off, and you get that sin just means we missed the point. It's an old archery term that means you missed the mark. That's all it means. Okay? So let go of the charge. I get why Catholics make such a big deal with original sin, and I was raised Catholic, so I get it. But they are way off base on how they deal with this fact of life. Separation is a truth. It's what they call leaving the garden, but it's not the whole truth. Actually, this is one of the key paradoxes in the spiritual life. We are born into sin, the mistaken belief in separation. But the whole truth is complicated because we have a dual nature. We are divinity. We are spirit, having a human experience. So we are both human and separate. And we are divine and one. It is the healing of this paradox that is a major task of the spiritual journey. It requires non-dual thinking, both and instead of either or. It's not that I'm either human or divine. I'm both. Both are true. So we start this month of relationships with our relationship to ourselves, the me of me. At some point in early adulthood, when our prefrontal cortex finally comes online, most of us start really processing the big questions of life. Why am I here? Who is this me of me? What is my purpose? What is the purpose of life? And before the big questions start, there's the emotional angst of adolescence. That universal feeling in the modern developed world of not belonging. The mostly unconscious recognition that I am not like everyone else. And the question for me shifted from where do I belong to do I even belong here at all? This can be a very confusing and vulnerable time, but it can also be a driver, a motivator to find meaning and to get below the surface of everyday life. That is, if you have the luxury of the time and space to do this kind of thinking. If you're in survival mode, that gets in the way. And it may be a while before you have a chance to really get into this kind of inquiry. Okay? I was fortunate to run across a glorious poem by Max Ehrmann, written in the late 1920s, called Desiderata, which is, I'm sure, familiar to many of you. What may not be familiar is the meaning of the word, the title. Desiderata is a plural noun that means things wanted or needed. And the tone of the poem is a listing of what Max Ehrmann considered the conditions necessary for a good life. The phrase that so moved and reassured me at that time of wondering whether I belonged, whether I was a part of things, was from the end of the poem. And some of you have heard me quote part of this because it's stayed with me since I was about 15. You are a child of the universe, no less than the trees and the stars. You have a right to be here. And whether or not it is clear to you, no doubt, the universe is unfolding as it should. Lovely sentiment, yes? I found it so comforting and reassuring. But I also needed structure. So I was led to studies in psychology and early childhood development, which helped me learn the process of growing up. And I came to understand that it actually was a process of becoming fully human. Growing up and becoming me was a journey. So it was okay to not know everything right now. As I continued my journey, I learned new structures for understanding this journey of being human. And I still love systems and fascinated by ones that help me explain this being human thing. And I'm still focused on the sense of belonging. One of the next structures that helped me was actually the Hindu chakra system. You know, the concept of energy centers within us. I'm not going to go through all of them, but the first chakra is about survival, which can be seen as how we belong in the world. I have a whole energy center focused on survival and how I belong in the world. It's a pretty good operating system. The second chakra is about regeneration and how we are embedded, how we belong in a web of relationships. The third chakra is about identity and independence, how I navigate in the world beyond survival, and how I navigate the web of relationships. The heart chakra then opens us to transforming everything that came before it into a deeper expression of who we truly are. But that's the subject of my workshop next month. So if this interests you and you want to go further with it, you know where to be. So the chakra system provided me with the sense of internal energy centers focused on belonging in the physical world and the world of relationships. Then came science of mind. And boy, did that just provide the perfect map to connect all the questions and the answers I had thus far found. First chakra. I am grounded not only in this physical world, but I am grounded in God, in spirit, in life itself. I live in it and it moves in me. Can't get any better than that for feeling connected and knowing that I belong. Second chakra, I had only known myself in relationship. What I see in you is what I know and believe about myself and the world. My life, whether that be at home or at work, socially or politically, is all a reflection of my thoughts, my beliefs, and my values, and you are the mirror. You reflect me back to me so I can actually see it. Third chakra, I am always at choice. Psychologists call this a sense of agency, knowing I have control over what happens in my life. I may not be able to control you, And I probably can't. But having choice always gives me control over me and my experience, including the degree to which I remember that I belong. I have a right to be here. So let's circle back to the beginning. Your life journey, my life's journey, is the story of original sin. The being born into the appearance of separation, which is a partial truth, and resolving and healing into wholeness through relationship. Original sin is a spiritual paradox of the first order. Its resolution requires non-dual both and thinking rather than either or. We are both human and divine. We start resolving this paradox with our relationship to ourself. We start from the parts, working out or in to the whole, since the whole is everything out there and within me. Okay, so you can think of it either way. First step is the paring or peeling away of walls. We live so many walls. Parent, partner, sibling, friend, lover, teacher, lawyer, assistant, mechanic, musician, artist, engineer, mediator, peacemaker, martyr, problem solver, victim, clown, storyteller, stoic, protector, invisible observer. So many words, useful and functional though they may be, at some point we have to peel them away to discover what it is about us that is constant across all the roles we take on. Who is the me that is always present? And do I like that person? What we know about ourselves and what we know for ourselves becomes a truth of our experience of life. Our relationship with our own self is our mental equivalent for our experience, and it becomes the law unto our lives. Ernest Holmes, our founding writer, says this in his book, Science of Mind. Every evidence of human experience, all acts of kindness and mercy have interpreted themselves through each person's self-knowing mind. Let me say that again. Every evidence of human experience, all acts of kindness and mercy have interpreted themselves through each person's self-knowing mind. All that we consciously know, say or think, feel or believe, hope or long for, fear or doubt is some reaction of the self-knowing mind. I love Holmes' use of the word interpret. It's like translating from a foreign language. We have to make meaning of the idiomatic phrases and provide the grammar and structure. In the same way, we essentially interpret the world through ourselves. We apply the rules of grammar. We interpret the meaning through the lens of what we think and know about ourselves. Now, this separating self from rules is an essential aspect of spiritual self-care. Self-care is a deep and abiding spiritual practice. It demonstrates to ourselves and the world that we understand and recognize our own value and worth. Self-care is not just for our physical bodies, although I cannot say enough good about massage and pampering yourself. Take the time to do it, okay? But our mental, intellectual, and emotional selves also benefit from the ways in which we nourish our minds and our hearts with love and empathy and compassion. Taking classes can be part of your self-care as we support each other in separating out roles and belief patterns and related practices that we do as the work of discovering who we really are. Self-care is also asking for support from your friends and family, from your ministers and practitioners. We are here for you as you go through that peeling away process. You can think of self-care as a spiritual practice that consists of a moment-by-moment awareness, no different from how you might monitor a meal that you're cooking. Periodically, you check it, you stir it, you have ingredients, spices, and you taste it. It's an ongoing getting to know you, getting to know all about you. I know I'm not going to sing it. But that's the process. You can think of it that way, just checking in on yourself. As another example of a self-care practice, I'm going to give you a homework assignment. I have it all written out. It will be available to you at the end of the service, or if you're on Zoom or YouTube, just email me or leave a message on the website and I'll send it to you. But right now, I just want to walk you through it and give you a sense of it, okay? So kind of settle in. The task consists of a reading to provide context and a grounding for your work, and then some questions to contemplate. Now, if you were at home, you journal after this, okay? But we're not going to be there that long. The quote is longish, so I'm going to read it twice and then provide the questions and then just some silence. The silence will give you a few moments to just sink into the experience. Okay? Ready? Okay. The reading is by Alice Walker, and it's from The Colored People. I am an expression of the divine, just like a peach is, just like a fish is. I have a right to be this way. I can't apologize for that, nor can I change it, nor do I want to. We will never have to be other than who we are in order to be successful. We realize that we are, as ourselves, unlimited, and our experiences valid. It's for the rest of the world to recognize this if they choose. So let me do it again, a little quicker. I'm an expression of the divine, just like a peach is, just like a fish is. I have a right to be this way. I can't apologize for that, nor can I change it, nor do I want to. We will never have to be other than who we are in order to be successful. We realize that as we are as ourselves unlimited and our experiences are valid. It's for the rest of the world to recognize this if they so choose. Can you feel the sense of that? Close your eyes. I'm going to give you some questions. Just let them be relaxed and just think about them gently. So contemplations, have a conversation with them. What are 3 things that you do not like about yourself that you also try to keep others from knowing or seeing about you? What if those things that you are hiding are actually strengths misunderstood and are essential aspects of you? Can you make friends with them? Alice Walker again. We will never have to be other than who we are in order to be successful. It is for the rest of the world to recognize this if they choose. Okay, did you get the sense of that? Again, I've got this for you to take home. It makes a wonderful conversation with yourself that you can journal. Spiritual self-care is not just for yourself. Your relationship with yourself impacts those closest to you the most, but it touches all with whom you come into contact. Think about it. Do you see where any of your self-judgments, self-criticisms, or sense of shame affect your family and friends or coworkers? Do you see where your self-empowered, self-loving, and authentic expressions inspire and influence them? These are good questions to take into contemplation or to use in your journal. I invite you to deepen your practice of self-care as part of a regular spiritual practice and a way of life. Reflect back a moment on the Alice Walker reading, when she says, I have a right to be this way. I can't apologize for that, nor can I change it, nor do I want to. This is such a powerful awareness and acceptance of self. To be me, loud and proud, as they say. But there's a caveat. Much like I said that the heart chakra is a place of transformation for survival energies into deeper spiritual expressions, the freedom to be unapologetically me as an immature expression and a more mature expression in the world. In the immature version, this is my ego wanting to take center stage, frequently to prove something or to thumb my nose at propriety. With maturity, I understand that the me that I am is the aspect that interprets and incorporates the flow of God, the flow of good, the flow of love as the activity of my life. I shape the flow of divine love with the perspectives that I have gained from my own spiritual journey. I look for and see beauty and joy and harmony, secure in my own power and ability to make choices that are right for me. And so I can let you be you. There's space for both of us. I also understand the difference between substance and style. This one was a long, hard fight for me. Substance is who I am, and style is how I am, how I express my true and authentic self in the world. Style can adapt to situations, allowing my true self to remain unchanged. I want to leave you with this final quote from Jonathan Levinsky Segal by Richard Bach. I love its emphasis on doing our inner work and the confirmation that the me of me is always present and in connection to the divinity within me that always knows the truth. Don't believe what your eyes are telling you. All they show is imitation. Look with your understanding. Find out what you already know, and you will see the way to fly. Join with me now, if you would. In the continuing awareness that the one presence, the one love, The one life of all flows in, through, and as me. There is no paradox, only the truth that the one life and I are one in this human experience. I know who and whose I am. And I allow this knowing. I welcome and open to this awareness, this knowing, this truth. I take it into every cell of my body to reveal perfect, glowing, radiant love. I take it into my understanding of my relationships, and I see the connection. I see the flow of love and good circulating in all of my relationships, whether it be people or money or food. I feel connected to the creative flow of life in the world. Enlivening what I do in the world. My work, my creative expression, my beings. This is who I am. I'm a child of the universe, no less than the stars and the trees. I have a right to be here. And I know the universe is unfolding exactly right for my good and the good of everyone. And for this, I give great thanks. So, special treat.
People, let your light shine. Come on now, let it shine. Come on, let it shine on. All night and day. People, let your light shine. Come on now, let it shine. We all got a lot inside. People, how can we survive if we don't let it shine on? Oh, night and day. You know the world is dark with fear. People have scared to let you near. Shine on.
Thank you. Let's our light shine. Yes. So this is our offering time. It is the time that we tithe, where we give back. And to me, I give in such love and gratitude. For this is, I give for that nourishes my spirituality. And that is what this center does. That's what these teachings do. They feed my soul. They feed my light. Through learning to discover that God self within, that truth of who I am. And that is what these teachings give me. This is what this center feeds me. They have supported me through the highest and the lowest times of my life, but they're there. We go on campings and swim, pool parties, you name it. They nourish every part of me. And that's why I tithe and I give in such heartfelt gratitude and love. And just listening to this talk today. Wow. Yeah. That connected to that divine self that's within me, expressing as me. So there are multiple ways to give. So please, you can give now. You can also give through our beautiful, glorious website, sacscsl.org. Click on the donate button. We have PayPal, we have Square, debit, credit card, you name it, any way that you like to give, you can. And if you like to shop like I do, you can go on Amazon, connect with Smile on Amazon, and we get a small portion of that. So like to me, that's a win-win, right? I get to give and I get to receive at the same time. Imagine that. We'd also like to thank our YouTube audience who also give so generously to our center. So now let's say together, muted if you're on Zoom, our abundance affirmation. Abiding by the law of circulation and in heartfelt gratitude, I affirm that I live in a creative and abundant universe that continuously flows in, through, and out as me, expressing as the ever-expanding infinite good. And so it is. Oh, yes. And now Debbie is going to be passing around the homework. It's actually the, not necessarily homework, but the opportunity to explore more of who we are. Have that conversation with ourselves. Please. And now, please check out our prayer requests that you can also get to on our glorious website, sacscsl.org. And you can submit your prayer requests and they get prayed over for the entire week by ministers and practitioners. Yes.
I understand that we have a demonstration that someone might want to talk about.
Yes, we do.
You're making me do this by myself?
You're on your own.
So I don't know if you've ever had a demonstration for something you didn't know you were asking for. That's what happened to myself and Cookie. So we recently refinanced our house because we wanted to do some remodeling. We wanted a new HVAC system, which we've already put into motion, and that is happening. But then we also wanted to tear down some walls because we wanted more space for our family to, visit and to be with us at Christmas and Thanksgiving. And we wanted more room for tables and things like that. And we wanted a newer bathroom. And so we started interviewing contractors to come and do that. And the more we interviewed those contractors and the more we talked about what we're gonna do, we were discovering that we were gonna be without a kitchen and maybe a bathroom for 3-4 months. So we're driving down the road the other day and I really wasn't thinking about anything. I was kind of, you know, for a change, the monkey mind was soft and quiet, and I said to Cookie, well, now's your chance. Do we wanna do the reconstruction on the house or do you wanna buy a new one? And she said, are you kidding? And I'm like, well, yeah, sort of. Am I? And then as we're driving, we drive by the brand new 55 and older community that's being built just north of us. And we said, oh, okay. So this was last Monday. We went back later and we toured the community and toured the houses. Saw a couple houses we really liked, went back home, started talking about it. Decided on one that we really liked, and Cookie said, you know, I really would not like to have no kitchen for 4 or 5 months. And that was stressing me out, and so I said, okay, well, let's go down this path. And we kind of opened up to spirit and said, you know, if it's gonna work, it's gonna be perfect. So I called my daughter and I said, you know, we're kind of thinking about this, and she said, wait, if you're asking me if you want me to buy your house, heck yeah. I said, oh, okay. And she says, by the way, we have somebody that wants to rent our house. Oh, okay. So then we find out when the house is gonna be ready that we want, September 2nd. Guess when the lease is gonna be up for the people that wanna rent my daughter's house? September 30th.
Wow.
Okay, so let's add on to the fact that everybody qualifies for everything. Then we say, okay, well, we're doing this HVAC thing and we're changing everything over to electric before we sell the house to my daughter. We need to put in a new stove because we're taking out the gas and putting electric in. Let's go to this appliance center and pick out a new stove, and while we're there, we'll pick out a new washer and dryer for our new house. So we walk in and we talk to the salesman and get everything done, and he hands us our card, and it's his name. By the way, my daughter is married to a gentleman named Garrett, and the guy who was selling us the appliances, his name was Garrett. So we said, okay, there's another. So
Yeah.
we just signed yesterday our contract for our new house.
1 week,
Less than a week. And I'm telling you, it was one of those things where it just, you know, Spirit was listening to what we wanted, but we didn't know how to get there. And so we followed the journey, and now we're getting everything we wanted, including my daughter getting her dream home as well, because there's gonna be room for all the kids. They love the place. It's perfect for everybody. So just a demonstration of how wonderful it is to know that your good is always there. Your good is always happening. And if you're open to spirit and not arguing with spirit, instead of saying, well, I don't know if I can do that or not, I'm not brave. Things wonderful happen, and everything is always working out for us. So.
Yes. The power of answered prayer, even when you haven't actually completely put it into language yet, but it was in the vision, right?
Absolutely.
Powerful. Okay, so now for our announcements. So we do meet in person the first, third, and fifth Sunday of every month. And of course, the alternate Sundays, we are in Zoom. So, and we just remember, even if you do miss us, you can always watch on YouTube. I had sound problems last week, so I couldn't hear. Glorious technology. But I can watch it on YouTube, so. So now we're gonna have our camping trip, all are welcome. It is July 13th to the 15th, so it's a Wednesday to Friday. Tents or RVs, sites are still available. And for more info, you can contact Corey or Sue, and their emails are up there on the screen. Now, on July 17th, which if you're keeping track is the third Sunday of the month of July, I am doing a workshop on Celtic chakras. So for this, I would like you to remember to bring a pen, a notebook, and plenty of water. Because when you work on your chakras, you're doing energy work. And when you do energy work, you need to be drinking water. And so it is, the workshop is going to be a little bit of combination of the regular traditional chakras, but including the Celtic chakras. The Celtic chakra is more about the future, whereas traditional is more about healing the past. And so we're going to do a little bit of a combination because we're going to have a conversation with our chakras. And our chakras will have a conversation between themselves, and of course, we get to listen. So it'll be fun. It is a class that I just finished taking, so it'll be the first time I've done this one. So yeah, please join us. And it will be also on Zoom. And just be aware though that I will be bringing my singing bowls. And the sound of the singing bowls isn't quite the same when it's on Zoom. They sound way off. So just a FYI.
So I should
Is
be
that
here.
right here in this building then, Linda? Are you teaching it here?
Yes,
And you're recording it too, right?
well, we're going to be recording it for some people, yes. Connie can't be here, so she would like us to record it. And I think that we could do that, right?
I'll be here. It wouldn't be recorded, I would think for confidentiality, like put out to everybody on YouTube. or something.
No, only if you
No.
join.
Yeah, you'll be able to share the link.
Yeah. Good point. That's why she's the practitioner. And so we do, through our outreach program, and our outreach, we choose different agencies that have been identified by our membership to support youth, those that need a helping hand, like the unhoused, and people in those in between stages. And so for this quarter, we have selected empowering women, women's empowerment. It's a great organization. It helps women transitioning from being unhoused into housing to employment. It supports them through that, and of course their children. They, I think 2 years ago, we donated clothes. I got to empty my closet because they needed clothes for women to go do their access to interviewing. And so we all got to clean out our closets, give some jewelry and scarves for accessories. And so it's a great group. So they're supporting the women. So we have healthy women, we have healthy children. And that's kind of what it's all about. So please, you can go on our website and donate to Women's Empowerment. When you do, please remember to put on there that it is for women's empowerment so that we can track it. And in September, we're hoping to have a representative here to talk a little bit about the organization, and so they can also receive a check. You can give to them directly, because I think that's what it says up here. But if you chose to do that, then please also put on there that you're giving from Sacramento Center for Spiritual Living. So that we just want them to know that we're in the community as a group and supporting them. And so for our gift for you for the week, is the universe loving itself is embodied as my self-love. Now, that is a great. And so now, continuing on in this sacred space, because we really have created here a sacred space. So let's continue on in that and breathe into our God self, our universal self, that is that self within us that expresses through every cell, every inch, from our minds, our heads to our toes. It is that divine universal self that it's expressing. It's how we let our light shine, right? So let's just kind of breathe into that and take that with us throughout the week as we dive into me, myself, and I, and how that is expressed, beginning with our love of self. For only when we learn to love and appreciate every part of ourselves can we learn to love others and to receive that love, because then we believe we are deserving of it. So let's just take that with us throughout the week, looking into what triggers us. And why does that trigger us? What is it that's trying to speak in, through, and as me? And so with that, let's just kind of breathe in with this gratitude, with this love for the message and the music today, as we let our light shine throughout the week. And let's anchor this by saying, and so it is. Now, please stay tuned for our fellowship afterwards. And if you're on Zoom, you can just stay gathered on Zoom, but please, we'll be muted here. Thank you.